$800. That's what I paid every month for my car, for 2 years. Not for the car itself, for the loan. And for almost that entire 2 years, I thought it was fine, normal even. Everyone I knew had a payment. It wasn't fine. It was quietly the most expensive decision I made in my 20s, and I didn't add up what it actually cost me until the day I finally paid it off. Here's exactly what that $800 a month was really buying, and what I wish somebody had shown me before I signed for it. I'm Jake, and I've spent way too much time making money mistakes, so you don't have to. So what does an $800 car payment actually cost you, beyond the $800? Let's get into it. Here's the thing about the $800. I didn't really decide on it. Not the way you decide on a big purchase. Weigh it, sit with it, sleep on it. I decided on a monthly number. The finance guy at the dealership asked what I could comfortably do a month. I said something like $700, maybe $750. And 40 minutes later, I drove off the lot at $812 because of some fee I didn't fully catch the name of, and it felt close enough that I didn't push back. That's the trap, and I don't think enough people talk about it. A $30,000 car feels like a decision. An $800 a month payment feels like a rounding error you barely notice agreeing to. Same purchase, completely different amount of scrutiny. I signed the paperwork in about 12 minutes. I've spent more time than that deciding on a dinner reservation. Here's the math I never did until the loan was already 2 years old. $800 a month is $9,600 a year. Over the 5-year term of that loan, that's $48,000 for a car that, by the time I paid it off, was worth somewhere around $11,000. But the sticker cost isn't even the real damage. Here's what the payment was quietly blocking the entire time it existed. At $800 a month, if I'd instead put even half of that, $400 a month, into a retirement account averaging a reasonable long-term return, over those same 5 years, that's not just $24,000 saved. It's a number that keeps compounding for the next 30 years, whether I touch it again or not. The car payment wasn't just $48,000. It was $48,000 plus everything that money would have become if it had been somewhere else. That's the part nobody explains at the dealership. The finance guy isn't lying to you about the payment. He's just never going to be the one to mention what the payment is quietly costing you everywhere else in your life it doesn't touch. You'd think a number like that would be obvious. It wasn't, and here's why. $800 came out automatically on the first of every month, same as my rent. It became background noise almost immediately, a fixed cost, like electricity, that I stopped actively thinking about within maybe 6 weeks of driving the car home. There was a Friday, about a year into the loan, where Marcus texted the group chat about splitting a cabin for 4 of us, $180 a head for the weekend. I did the math in my head standing in the laundromat, phone in one hand, quarters in the other, and typed back, "Can't swing it this month, next time." Not because I was actually broke, because $180 felt like real money I had to find, and $800 didn't feel like anything, even though $800 was sitting right there in the same account, leaving on the same schedule every single month, without me ever once treating it like a number I could question. I found out later that weekend from Marcus's photos that it rained the whole time and they played cards in the cabin for 2 days straight, laughing about something that became an inside joke I never got to be part of. It's such a small thing. It shouldn't have stuck with me. But I kept coming back to the fact that I'd said no to $180 in real time with real math, and said yes to $800 without ever doing math on it at all. I just stopped seeing it as a number by then. It had become the shape of my bank account, not a decision I was still making. That's what actually got me looking back. Not the 12 minutes at the dealership, the 11 months after it, where $800 got smaller and smaller in my head by doing absolutely nothing except repeating. Here's the part that's a little embarrassing to admit. Understanding all of this didn't stop me from almost doing it again. About 8 months before I paid the loan off, I was in another dealership, just looking, at a truck I didn't need for anything. The finance guy, a different one, same script, asked what monthly payment felt comfortable. And I heard myself say probably around $700 before I'd run a single number, the exact same sentence, in the exact same tone as 2 years earlier. I didn't catch it because I'm smarter now. I caught it because he pulled out a tablet to run the numbers and turned it toward me. And for a second, the screen just showed a payment calculator, empty fields, waiting for me to confirm the number I'd already said out loud. And something about seeing it blank like that, about to get filled in with a number I hadn't actually earned my way to, the same way the $812 got filled in the first time, made my stomach do something I can only describe as recognition, not logic. My stomach knew before the rest of me caught up. I said I needed to think about it and left. But I want to be honest about how close that was, and how little the math I'd already done for this exact video actually protected me in the room. Knowing the number is $48,000 doesn't stop the pull. It's not a mistake you make once and outgrow. It's a script the dealership runs on purpose, and it very nearly worked on me twice. Here's the part that's a little embarrassing to admit. Understanding all of this didn't stop me from almost doing it again. About 8 months before I paid the loan off, I was in another dealership, just looking, at a truck I didn't need for anything. The finance guy, a different one, same script, asked what monthly payment felt comfortable. And I heard myself say, probably around $700, before I'd actually run a single number. I caught myself mid-sentence, not because I had some big moment of clarity, because I literally remembered writing the math out for this exact video weeks earlier, and the number $48,000 popped into my head uninvited. I walked out, didn't buy the truck. But I want to be honest that the pull toward just say a comfortable sounding monthly number is strong even when you know exactly what it costs. It's not a mistake you make once and outgrow. It's a script the dealership is running on purpose, and it works on you again if you let the payment become background noise a second time. So here's what changed concretely once I paid that first car off. I now do the total cost math before I ever talk about a monthly number. Sticker price, interest, the full term, added up on paper before I set foot near a dealership. If the total number doesn't sound reasonable out loud, the monthly number doesn't get to hide it from me. I also set a hard rule. No loan longer than 3 years. Not because shorter loans are always cheaper, because a shorter term forces the monthly payment to be honest about what the car actually costs. A $30,000 car over 3 years tells you something a $30,000 car stretched over 7 years is specifically designed not to. And I revisit every fixed cost in my life twice a year now, on purpose. Not just the car, everything. Because the whole reason the $800 got away from me for 2 years wasn't the decision. It was that I never once looked at it again after I made it. I paid that car off almost a year ago now. I still drive it. It's paid for, it runs fine, and there's a version of me that wants to say the story ends there. Lesson learned, moving on. But the truer ending is the dealership 8 months before the payoff. Standing there, already knowing everything I've just told you, and still feeling the pull to say a comfortable number instead of doing the math first. If you've got a payment right now that feels like background noise, rent, a car, a subscription, anything you stopped actively thinking about months ago, I don't think that makes you careless. I think it means nobody ever showed you what the number was quietly costing you everywhere else it doesn't touch. That's what today's video was. Tell me, what's a payment in your life you haven't actually looked at in a while? I read every comment, and if you want more of this, subscribe, because the psychology behind the money decisions we make on autopilot and rarely revisit is exactly what this channel is about. I'm Jake. I'll see you in the next one.